indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So thank you all for coming this evening. Welcome. And I'm going to start out with some introductions. I'm Lisa Whalen. I'm the mayor. And to my left are council members Kathleen Methkin and Brian Govern. And absent this evening is Peter Vickery and Claudia Lacey. They will be here in our next council meeting. And then on the end, we have our city engineer with WSD, Alice Mikowski. We have Barry Peters next to her, who is our director of public works. And then on the end, we have Ali Tolkus, who is our assistant city administrator. To my right, we have Jasper Krugel, who is our city administrator. And then we have Brian Grimm, who is our finance director. David Abel is our community development director. And then on the end, we have sitting in for Chief Paul Falls, who will soon be retiring. We have Deputy Chief, who will then be Chief Craig Squires. So welcome, Craig, and again, congratulations on your promotion on the 26th. So with that, we have an agenda, and I just have one change. We will not be having a special presentation by MCWD and Borough Oaks Golf Club. James Whiskers was not able to be here. He did send a letter, but the information in the letter is basically everything that was in the packet. So I don't think we need to read it. With that, it would leave just the fourth quarter 2024 financial update under special presentations, and the rest I don't have any changes. Other changes? Okay, hearing none, then is there a motion to approve the agenda with that change?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Governor. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Redkin. Any further questions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify with aye. Aye. All those opposed, motion passes. So we're going to have a very informative fourth quarter financial update, and this is fourth quarter from 2024.
Yes, correct. So it's the
Thank you,
basic.
Mr. Grimm.
Yep, Madam Mayor and Council, I'll give a brief update just on where we ended up preliminary on our 2024 finances. Our city auditors are actually here this week to audit this data, so that's always a fun week for the finance department. If anyone's ever been through an audit, it's sort of like a root canal, but better, I guess, or no. So yeah, as far as just what was in your packet, I mean, the revenues for the general fund came in pretty much slightly over anticipated budget, so that was good. There was a little bit more intergovernmental revenue that came in, as well as the investment revenue. The market was a little better this year than in some of the previous years, or especially a couple of years ago. So that's where our revenue positive variance came from. As far as our expenditures, basically on our budget, we were within $3,300, which I mean, with less than fraction of a percent or so. We were able to come in at. So I don't know if anyone has any questions, but basically, yeah, we ended up having about a $70,000. We were able to better than budgeted. We had planned down to spend about $190,000, so we did have a positive variance there. So, and
that'll just go back into our general fund, and then fund balance, which will help us for next year.
Yep.
Because we need to maintain a good fund balance.
Yep. And we do have about a $3 million general fund balance compared to roughly $7 million in general fund expenditures, which is about 43%, which is about where we want to be as a city. So I don't know if anyone has any questions. I know there's like 10, 15 pages of data in the packet that I'm sure you all read through.
I think more of a concern, we're spending a lot in the miscellaneous categories of all of the, some like all of the council, the administration, elections, finding out there's a miscellaneous category in the miscellaneous subcategory.
Yeah.
And then also the professional services, the SEO services, correct? Those are going out. Most of the departments for over budget. That I'm assuming the appreciation event was the same.
The tree of it, yeah. The tree lighting and stuff. So yeah, that wasn't really. I think the first year we had that was in 23. So when we did the 24 budget, it wasn't budgeted for, but we did expand that and have some of the. So that's partially why we were slightly over. But yeah, most as you referenced, Councilmember Rufkin, yeah, most departments were basically at or slightly over budget, and I think some of it's just has to do with I mean, a little bit, I mean, actually the salaries came in pretty close. We did have the, the compensation plan from a couple years ago, so we're still implementing, following those changes. But yeah, some of those other items, yeah, sometimes are just unanticipated for, or need a home as far as, what, department line item. We try to look more at, the overall, did you come in at total budget? And I think most, departments did a pretty good job there of being at or, slightly above. So, which was then offset by a little bit of the revenues coming in better. So some have offsets, some are just things that were not quite anticipated for. So, but yeah, if there's any more detailed questions, I could probably even follow up with you.
I just, I guess it's more towards Jasper, like, you get if we stay closer to the 100%, or even more versus the 15, or whatever, given all the other expenses that we're talking about in the work session. A little tighter.
Definitely. And, throughout the year, we get these quarterly updates and we can kind of track it. But generally, if there's something that, we don't have that's funded in the year and we have to do it, it gets built into it. So we hopefully talk about anything that's, of substance at council for those, but we'll keep an eye on it.
Brian, anything?
No comments.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Brian. And then we'll look forward to the auditor's report.
Yes, that should be coming in mid-May with the final numbers. Yeah.
So next on the agenda, we'll move on to persons to be heard, and we have a couple people signed up. So I'm going to start with Aaron. I'm sorry, is it get it? And I'm just going to say, I know you have a lot of people here with you this evening, and they're not all signed up. Thank you very much. But I just want to recognize that you're all here in support of Aaron in his efforts. So.
My name is Aaron Gedeke. I reside at 4600 Foxglove Drive, off of Woodland Grove Boulevard. You probably recognize my face and know I'm here. I'm here to petition the city to put in 2 painted crosswalks and signs along Woodland Grove Boulevard. I was told to show up with torches and pitchforks. I'm pretty sure Deputy Chief wouldn't have let me do that. So I brought my neighbors. We also had an online sign-up sheet of people to show support. There were 80 signatures that we collected in a week, and that was sent just to residents in our village HOA. So that's all the residents on Foxglove Drive, Cranesville Drive, and then everyone in the townhomes on the south of Woodland Grove Boulevard in that first town edition. So that's everyone directly affected directly by the areas we're asking about. So
We have a petition. I got a paper copy from Tricia now, and then I think we also all got the email. And just kind of FYI, it's, I think last time that Aaron was here, we said, well, are there other people that are concerned about this? And that's what this petition is. It's not a legal petition.
It's just a show of support.
Just to comment on that, it'd be good if there were addresses, so Tricia wants to work with Jasper to get the addresses.
We'll do that. I can get you
And
access.
by the way, the HOA manager only sent it to people.
Oh, yeah, so I mean, not that we think
But
you're lying.
it doesn't matter, it's not a legal petition,
Right.
it's just a show of support.
And then what I also will suggest is that, so this is kind of what the council asked you to do. And so I'm going to ask that we put this on our work session, our first work session in April. That could be April. So if we'll discuss this at our work session in April. That's all right. Thank you.
Thanks.
I do have Chris Refkin also signed up, and just Mr. Spalding, you didn't want to speak, right? Okay, so next is Chris.
Mayor Wheeler and City Council members. My name is Chris Ruffkin. I reside at 6816 Minnetrista Court. I'm the president of the Woodland Cove Master Homeowner Association, according to my laws and definitions this evening. I'm here to correct a matter of record here. I was made aware of an individual message mayor and the rest of City Council regarding decisions made or not made by the Woodland Cove Master Association. So to clear the record, the Woodland Cove Association discussed the crosswalk matter July 18th, 2024. The agenda was provided to Mr. Krugel, here, the city administrator. For that meeting, all but one board member was in attendance. It was a unanimous decision that the board was not going to take a position regarding the crosswalks. The board was going to defer to city staff, presumably the director of public works, the director of public safety. Third, the decision that will happen constitutes over 90% of voting members. So significant majority, not just unanimous, but significant majority from the board. Also, just to make the city council aware, the Master Association had our annual meeting this past Monday, a week ago today. We had one homeowner speak regarding crosswalks, dogs, snow removal, and construction debris superseded the conversation compared to crosswalks. And again, speaking on behalf of myself, as a resident now, I'm just representing signing the record for the Master Association. My personal opinion about the additional crosswalks. I know we had crosswalks placed at Kings Point Road and Mackinton recently. Just a week and a half or so ago, when the weather started warming up, it's at dusk. There's kids crossing through the middle of the Mackinton's driveway, 20 feet to the right of the lighted crosswalk that is not being engaged at that time. If it's dusk, push the light, draw attention to yourselves. I think this kind of comes down to a matter of personal accountability, not only for pedestrians and drivers, and something I've seen in the neighborhood over the years. I've lived here for over 10 years. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Rifkin. And like I said, we'll discuss all of this at our work session and come to a final conclusion.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I don't have anybody else signed up under persons to be heard for that. And I know we have some people here that are for the public hearing. So we will give you obviously an opportunity to speak at that time. And so with that, I'm going to move on to our consent agenda items. And they consist, are there any that you wish to remove? All right, hearing none. They consist of approving our work session meeting minutes from February 18th, 2025. B is approve our city council regular meeting minutes from February 18th, 2025. Approve a conditional offer of promotion to Chad Griggs from police officer to sergeant. And approve our property lease agreement with Brian Zickinator for Trista Farms. And E is approve our claims. F is approving our final plat of Carmen Cove. G is approve our CUP for ground-mounted solar at 8485 Squire Lane. And H is approve our riparian view shed setback variance at 5440 Ridgewood Cove. And I is approve our WCA or WCA wetland replacement plan for Burl Oaks Golf Club. And J is award a 3-year generator maintenance contract. And K is a resolution to approve a CIP purchase of a used aerial lift truck. Any further questions? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve consent agenda items A through K? Thank you, Ms. Refkin. I bet Mr. Governor would like to second that.
Seconded.
Thank you, Mr. Governor. All those in favor signify with aye. Aye. All those opposed, motion passes. If anybody wishes to stay, you're welcome to stay. If you would like to leave, you're welcome to leave too. But I always invite people to stay. With that, we'll move on to our business item, our public hearings. And our public hearings this evening consist of our street improvement project. I'm just going to give it a couple minutes. And thank you for coming.
Thank you.
All right. So this evening, our public hearings consist of our 2025 street improvement project. It's the assessment hearing and award the contract and adopt the assessments. And I'm going to start with Ms. Busky.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Whalen. So before you this evening is the 2025 street project. The project includes, for the most part, for reclamation of Pine Circle, Trillium Way East, Trillium Way West, Trillium Way, and Woodridge Trail. We have some partial curb and gutter replacement in the Trillium area, as long as some gate valve work in the Trillium area as well. Gate valve work is not, that work is not assessed to the properties. That work is paid by city funds. And then some installation of inflow and infiltration barriers in the Pine Circle sanitary sewer. And again, those costs are paid by the city. So included in the packet is the final assessment rates that are proposed. For Pine Circle, we're at $5,700 per unit. Trillium is $7,900 per unit, and Windridge Circle is $10,000 per unit. I've also included preliminary assessment rates for each of those areas. Pine Circle and Trillium are lower than the original preliminary assessment rate because in the bid prices, we were seeing some better unit prices for some of the driveway work. So we were happy with that. Or some of the concrete work, we were happy with that to provide a lower proposed assessment. Windridge Circle is capped at $10,000 per unit per the council's direction. And we did run a quick assessment calculation. Had that cap not been there, the assessment for Windridge would have been in the neighborhood of $21,000. With that, there's some further discussion that took place the last time we talked about this at council on Windridge Trail with regards to parcels 6 and 7. Thank you to the mayor for bringing that option up. Staff did take a further investigation into what happened with parcels 6 and 7 and why they were showing up as two parcels on the tax property tax information. So basically what happened is there's a school district line that goes through the property. I'm on page 136 of the packet for those that wish to see what I'm referring to. So there's a school district boundary that goes through that lot on Windridge Trail that creates two tax parcels, but it is one lot. It is known as Lot 2, Block 1 of Windridge. So with that and having that further understanding, we are recommending that the parcel 7 be shown as 0 assessment units in the final assessment roll, which is included in the packet. I did have a conversation with the property owner after the last council meeting where we discussed this to explain what happened and get a better understanding of property owner's knowledge of this situation, and to also explain that they would be receiving 2 assessment notices because we had called for the public hearing based on that, but based on what we're finding upon further investigation, the recommendation was to bring that down to 0. So I did have that conversation with the property owner, and again, appreciate Mayor Whalen bringing that to staff's attention. With that, on page 137 of the packet, we do show that the funding summary for this project with $491,300 in special assessments, and the remainder being paid by city funds in the order of $751,804.72. With that, I would be happy to answer any questions that the council may have, but the actions this evening is one, to hold the public hearing, the assessment hearing for this project for Minnesota state statutes, and then the second one would be to award the contract for the project. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that the council may have prior to the public hearing. Do you have any questions?
Well, wasn't there a second lot in that development that was in the same boat where it was split in two for school purposes?
And I believe that gentleman, the owner of those 2 lots, is here. So I'm going to ask him to come forward then, and I think he can answer your question. So I don't remember. Do you want to come? State your name and address for the record.
Yep. So my name's John. I live at 7855 Windridge Trail. And yeah, I don't have the parcel numbers, so I'm not familiar with that. I got the PID IDs for the county. But we, about 4 years ago, I don't know the date, but purchased the empty lot next to us, and which is the address of 7905 Windridge Trail. It's an empty lot, and we talked to the city at that point about joining the 2 into 1 lot. And I started down that path and talked to Nicholas Olson at that time here at the city. He had me fill a form out to then get to the county to merge those into 1 lot. Because that second lot is on 2 different school zones, the county couldn't merge our two right away. I put another form out to merge school zones. That was a long process to just to make it only that once a year. I just got like a week ago or 2 weeks ago notice from the county that that had all gone through, or that it said it's not final as far as joining our PIDs together, but the new PID number will be, and they provided that. So
So now you just have one here.
now we just have one plot, one PID for our land, our house, and the one.
But just for the record, we'll make this part of the public hearing record, so just so you know.
Okay.
Does that answer your question, Brian? It should be one lot versus, he should get one assessment versus two.
The other vacant, so both vacant lots are getting one assessment.
Because they're basically one lot. So I don't know if Allison, what do we need to do to change?
Mayor Whalen, I'd certainly ask the city attorney to chime in if I'm misspeaking, but I think what we are looking at, so my understanding, the property address was the 7905. That's the vacant, and it's listed as a vacant land on the assessment roll on page 138 of the packet. Is that the correct address, sir?
Yeah.
Thank you. So we are identifying that as parcel 2, Madam Mayor, on the assessment roll. So my recommendation, if the council would choose to remove that in the motion, would be to adopt the resolutions with a clarification that parcel 2 would have 0 assessment units associated.
All right, thank you. Okay, thank you. What I'll do real quick is open the public hearing. And if anybody else has questions or comments, I know there was some questions about if you wanted to pay. So maybe I'll ask Brian actually to kind of answer your question, but if you'd like to come forward, yeah.
I have another question to ask.
Sure, yeah.
Hi, I'm Steve Olick, and I have before you go, but I didn't address that. So, question, if we pay our invoice in full, will we get an invoice from the city?
So what we'll do after this meeting is, and we've sort of refined our process over the years, because basically the action tonight, we'll adopt the assessment rule. So we've gone to where we send out a post-adoption letter to all the residents saying this has now been officially adopted, and it'll talk about some of the timelines that if you want to pay in full, you got to pay by November 1st of this year, November 1st, 2025. If you want to avoid any interest, because whatever's not paid in full would be put onto the starting in property taxes in 2026. So we'll have that letter that'll go out post this meeting here, probably in the next week or so, explaining some of those timelines. And then we've gotten in the process too of sending out like a 30-day warning, like a October 1st, like a reminder that, hey, if you don't pay this.
Is it like to be like invoicing, like the amount, or
It'll have the appropriate, because there's a few different amounts depending on what street you're on, but it'll say the amount. It'll say if you want to, to pay in full, it would be $10,000 or the 50, or whatever the amount. And then it'll talk about in the letter that in the first year, you can make a partial payment. You can decide, hey, out of this 10, I want to pay 5. But after the first year, before November 1st of this year, once it's at the county, it's either it's at the county riding with the property taxes, or in a subsequent year, you got to pay off to the city by basically November, the next November, so yeah, those details we try to, I guess, elaborate on or explain it as well. But there'll be a couple of different correspondence, one soon here and then one a reminder in fall that should come.
November 1st is the deadline.
Yep.
And you've got 2 payments instead of yearly.
Okay.
It's similar to the other one, but I know we came to the original meeting months ago about the road construction. And Trillium Bay has a couple, and there was discussion about it, because they own them, right? And they're not merged together. And has that been addressed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because they're 2 separated lots.
Yeah.
Not just, and it has nothing to do with the school district or anything like that. And they're buildable lots.
Yeah.
So they are being assessed too.
Which is fair. Perfect. That's all I have.
All right. Okay. Anybody else have questions? questions or comments? Yep, come forward. You just need to state your name and address.
Terry Nelson at 6120 Pine Circle. And we just had a brand new driveway done in 2022 or 2023. And when I was reading some of this, you know, it talks about the cul-de-sac, south side gets their part of the water and west side gets the other part. But it really, if somebody goes out and looks, it isn't like that. I have pictures. The neighbor to our south side, he's pretty high up. So when the water drains on the cul-de-sac, most of it shoots down on driveway. So we redid a garage remodel, we sunk the drain in. We also had to put a French drain on the side of the garage, which I have a picture of, because we got like a flood coming down. But to remedy it a little bit, when we put our new driveway in, they put in a bit of a lip. So some of the water flows past that through the front yard and then down towards the lake.
Okay.
So my biggest concern is that when they redo this road, you need to get somebody to, I need to have that lip done like we did originally.
Okay.
And then the other question is, what happens like structures or mailboxes and the stones around it? Is that gonna get all messed up?
Yes, yes. I'm gonna have Allison answer all your questions.
Yes, if I could get that, I would love to have a conversation. Thank you so much. So the first part about with regards to the driveway, so we can work with you to get that hump in the driveway to redirect it. That's certainly our goal with these projects, is to restore things in the same or better condition. The reason we included a little inclusion in the assessment notice to the folks on the south side of Pine Circle is oftentimes we find when these roads get into such poor condition and aren't draining properly, once we get that new surface on there and get it draining, folks are like, well, why is it pushing water through my yard? And so we wanted to make it clear that while we're doing some improvements and would like to get capture water, we're not able to do so on some. So I appreciate the information, and we'll work with you on your driveway to get that. And then with regards to the mailbox, what will happen is included a bid item in the contract. So when prior to the work coming in for the street, you'll have temporary mailboxes set up there, and then once the project's complete, we'll come back with those landscape.
Okay, will they take them, or are we responsible to move them out of the way, or how's that work?
We can work with you either way. I think a lot of times our preference is if a property owner wants to do it themselves, we like that, because we want to make sure that it's done to your satisfaction. But we're certainly willing to work with you to make sure that they're moved to an appropriate place for your project. Because the challenge is we need to keep it out of the way of the contractor, right? So that it's that they can do their work. So we can go with you.
Okay, so somebody will contact us before they get started.
Certainly.
It'd be in your best interest, you want to save it, you know, to take it out at least. Well, take photos before, we can work with you to do it, but, you know, during projects, things can get lost. So, I mean, it would probably behoove you to take it, store it by hitting someplace that you know where it's at, and we can work with you.
Okay.
And Gary will help you live them. And I am kidding about that. Sure, of course.
Well, mailboxes.
Yeah.
So in Trillium, everybody has a copper cedar fancy mailbox. Mine rotted off, so I concreted it in with, you know, metal and everything. You know, that's probably like, you know, 2 feet, you know, 3 feet into the lawn. So will that be affected? Would I just?
Mostly, probably not, because we're not really, you have concrete curb and gutter there, so it's just doing the asphalt work. So most mailboxes should be behind the curb, so they should be relatively safe. I mean, I'm not gonna say that someone might not get hit by, you know, something here or there, but for the most part, they should be
Worst
relatively
case
safe.
scenario, I can just pull it up.
It should be fine through there.
It should be fine.
Yeah.
Right, thank you.
Anybody else have questions or comments regarding this road project or special assessment?
Mayor, if I may, just
Yeah.
point of clarification for the record. You opened up the public hearing when the first gentleman was up. So just want to make sure that's clear for the record.
So it's still open.
Still open.
Come on, don't wait twice. Okay. And I'm going to close the public hearing. I guess I'm gonna close the public hearing right now. Take it back to council. So council, we're gonna be removing lot number 2 on Windridge Trail from the assessment roll. Is there any other, I don't believe any other changes that we'll be making. So do I have a motion to adopt the assessment for the 2025 street improvement project city, project number 01-25, with the exclusion of lot number 2 on Windridge Trail?
Well, we're not excluding it, we're changing the assessable unit to 0.
I'm sorry, okay.
I don't know how to protect.
I don't know. Yeah. 0. All right.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Redmond. Thank you. Mr. Gallery. And I'm sure Ms. Redkin wants to second that. All those in favor signify with aye. Aye. All those opposed, motion passes. Hey, nobody can claim we're not having fun. All right. Then we also have to award a contract for the 2025 street improvement project, city project number 01-25. Thank you, Ms. Redkin, and thank you, Mr. Govern. All those in favor signify with aye. Aye. All those opposed, motion passes 3-0. You're good to go. Thank you. And if you have any other questions at any time, you can either call Brian if you have finance questions, or call Ms. Fausti if you have questions regarding the project. Thank you. All right. So next, we move on to, let's see, business items. So we have to approve a task order. It's order number 8 for the construction and administration services for 25 for the street improvement project.
Recommended there, members of the council, this is for the construction admin services for the project there, in Trillium, Pine Circle, and Windridge. This would be for WSP to have a construction observation out there for 30 hours per week for 6 weeks, 10 hours a week for 2 weeks. This would also include our new engineering techs time out there on site to start to learn the operation behind city inspections and that stuff. So that's a great learning opportunity for him, because eventually they will be taking over this role. So not only, are we getting, WSP to actually oversee the project, we're also getting free training from them. So.
That's good clarification, Mayor.
Yes, so, but a good training opportunity for him, and then, with this project, and again, for next year, for 2026's project, which will have a lot of other issues coming in with a lot of other options for that. It's going to be great learning opportunities for him to learn. So what we're looking at is proceed to a cost of 22% of the total bid cost. The whole bid was $986,590.05. So we're just asking to recommend resolution 31-25 to approve task order number 8 with WSP for the construction admin services for the 2020.
Thank you, Mr. Pierce. Any questions by staff or council? Anyone? All right. Then is there a motion to approve that resolution as stated?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Redkin.
Seconded.
Thank you, Mr. Govern. Any further questions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify with aye. Aye. All those opposed, motion passes 3-0. And next we move on to approve task order 9, which is design and bidding services for pavement maintenance project for 2025.
Correct. Madam Mayor and members of the council, this is for the pavement maintenance project for this coming year. We'll be doing a crack fill and reclamite, which is spray seal to 15 miles of streets. We'll also be doing some park trails, and then another fog seal of the Selby Court that to help lock in some rock and stuff to do some complaints there. So estimated project cost is $471,000, as I alluded to a few times. This is where the maintenance aspect from now on is going to start declining. As we keep improving roads to keep them looking decent and functioning the way we want, and to have the lifespan out of this maintenance is very important. Whether it's the crack filling to keep the water out, the rubber might help seal it to keep the pavement pliable, the fog seal, the seal coat is going to be a very important function. As time goes on, our project costs will start to kind of go down a little bit, and then, but the maintenance costs will continue to increase. So this is going to be, always an ongoing project. So what we're asking here though is, for the project to go through, it's $471,000 estimate. Hopefully it comes in a little cheaper, but, to keep the roads, the investment we have in these roads, it's well worth it. So we're recommending that you approve task order 9 with WSP, the preparations of plans and specs for the 2025 pavement maintenance project.
The fog seal on Asphalt Court, that's, what is that, what is the fog seal?
Just basically a spray sealant to help block the rock in.
So the one gentleman who's complaining about rock was driving, would be happy.
Yeah, there's actually there's two up there, so,
Fog seal?
yeah, just to kind of, fix that to help kind of lock that in and be done.
Okay.
Yes.
I talked to Gary about that too.
I saw the street and I was like, oh, please, please.
No, there's no silicone, it's just fog seal. It'll be swept really well and then fog seal to help keep that locked in and
Okay.
hopefully.
Does the fog seal damage the car?
No, fog seal is just basically what, it's similar to what, like Turbo Seal or I'm trying to think of some of the other driveway companies come in. It's basically a spray application of sealant on top of it. So,
Any other questions? Question 2. All right, Gary's very happy to do this. All right, with that, is there a motion to approve resolution number 32-25, which is approving the task order 9 for design and bidding services for the pavement management projects of 25?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Governor. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Webkin. Any further questions, comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify with aye. Aye. All those opposed, motion passes. I don't even have to ask because there's nobody out there. All right, motion passes 3-0. So next we move on to administrative items. We'll start with city engineer, area project update.
Thank you, Mayor Whalen. I just wanted to bring to the council's attention some of the Hennepin County projects that will be occurring this summer. They are looking to do a mill and overlay on County Road 110 between Auditors Road and Sunnybrook Circle. So we can expect to see some traffic disruptions up through there, but nice new pavement. County Road 15, they are looking to do a chip seal coat from the county limits to Westgate. And then on County Road 44, they'll be doing a chip seal from just south of Lakeview to County Road 110. So we have been in contact with the county with regards to their work on County Road 44 with relation to the city project on Pine Circle, so that we can make sure that we have contractors that know of each other and not causing problems, and looking to do that correspondence through the construction season.
We don't finish the building on Highland.
Hopefully this year.
They don't tear it down again?
They had some setbacks and they are moving forward. They're getting really close.
And they're gonna fix that area of the road where they.
I'm trying to get them paid well up to 110, but I've got off the bridge. From the bridge to Highway 7, and they're extending the lane in front of their building. They want to make that so that their semi can come in there when they're have a park area, so have blocking traffic. So we discussed that. So we put in an extra lane in there. We're going to be widening the turn as you come on West 107 on Highland and moving curve and stuff. Coming to the center island will either be removed or over, probably removed though, just to make the area a lot better than they'll restripe it.
That's in the council.
Correct, yeah, that's through the Met Council. So, and they've had a few setbacks and issues, but they're moving forward now.
one of the things I noticed is that sometimes they have their contractors and they're parked on both sides of the road. If you ever have any.
We talked to them about it to make sure they're keeping it open and stuff, so their issue that they have is where their trailer is there, they're only allowed, I believe, 4 cars to park there.
Oh.
So they're parking. We've asked them to park up on the, west side, so the southbound side, so I know that area is pretty beat up, and they will take care of all restoration.
Okay. Good. Yeah. No. Any other updates? Social media?
Yeah, Madam Mayor, members of council, I'll be brief with this. So occasionally we get some social media comments, questions that we'd like to address. We don't generally go back and forth on social media, but we can put it as, part of this record. But just to be clear, we've never received any bonding money. There was one misconception that we received $15 million or so. I said, that would be nice. That'd have been great. Yeah, so well, it was supposedly for a water treatment plant, but so we've never received any money. And then there was another comment that we use levy dollars to supplement our water fund, and that's not the case. We keep those two things completely separate. So just want to make sure, as these things pop up, Allie generally brings them to my attention, and if they're egregious, we might comment to try to make it, but this individual has done it a couple times over the last couple of years. So just, it's kind of timely because we're continuing to talk about the bonding bill, and we had a conversation this morning with the senator about hopefully being able to get a bonding bill this year. It's getting more and more refined. I guess the possibility, not the actual bonding bill, that hasn't been developed yet. But so we're still fighting for some money, but we will see. Regarding just updates, I want to give a little timeline update. So obviously, Police Chief Paul Falls has his retirement celebration here. That is on March 26th at 2:30 right here in the council chambers. So the public is welcome. There'll be a couple of very famous speakers speaking at the mayor is one of them. So, but it'll be, fairly informal celebration of Paul's career. So,
30 right here.
2:30 right here. There's some other events that are coming. I just want to mention them. I think we have a date set for the town hall and the water infrastructure and fire partnership. I sent an email out to the group today. That's on April 14th from 6 to 8 p.m. If you can make it great, we'll just go over what's going on with the fire partnership and the water infrastructure and hopefully get some comments. The timing of that is somewhat strategic, so we can get some input before we go out to bid. We can talk a little bit about what we think the rates will be. We don't technically know. We won't know about the bonding money by then for sure. So, and then about 2 weeks later, we have the State of the City address, which is on April 29th out at Burl Oaks Golf Course. That starts at 5:30. Then on May 3rd, we have Cleanup Recycle Day from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Here at the City Hall. And then on May 17th from 11 to 2, we have Trista Day. And then on June 3rd, we have the city bus tour from 5:30 to 8:30. That's an RSVP event that has not been sent out yet. I think that usually goes out sometime in May. Okay, so. But those are events. We're kind of event heavy in the beginning of the year, and then we have a little break, and then we have our Christmas or our holiday event. So that's all I have.
I did notice the future city council meetings to install the calendar on the city website.
Yeah, so with our new agenda management software doesn't allow us to program the days for council meeting. So if that's something we desperately need, we can talk to them and see if we just have to go in and create them and then delete them before we create the packet. So if that's something you guys find people,
I think we should, we need to have them on there, so.
on the
website somewhere that says.
Well, the entire city, what you guys approved, the calendar and it's minutes on there.
Nobody knows
But
that.
okay. I'll see if we can do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other reports? Do you need somebody for?
No meeting this month, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Well,
I'm trying to keep you guys happy.
All right.
Doing what to do.
So we'll move on to council reports real quick. Yeah, this morning Jasper and I met with a number of mayors around that are in Senator Ann Johnson Stewart's district. And we talked about, the big issue that we talked about was the middle and housing bill that was voted last year. And there's similar bills now, and they've kind of broken them up into separate bills. But we talked about all of those and how we do not want those to pass because they would really infringe on our local authority over local issues.
Are the neighboring mayors also feel as we do?
Yes, yeah, and we were like 100% all on board with the same feeling. There were probably 10 different cities represented.
Yeah.
Probably. And then tomorrow, of course, the three of us, Kathleen and I, and okay, so two of us will be at the fire partnership meeting. And then, of course, on April 14th, I'll be at the town hall meeting and so on. I've been on vacation for a while, so if you sent an email, I haven't replied. I just got back Saturday night. So I will go through those 500 emails and see what, most of them are junk, but anyhow, just in case you sent an email and I haven't replied yet. That's it.
Because Lisa was gone, I went to state the Capitol and our Andrew Myers presented our bonding bill. We lost snow day. Last Tuesday. Seems like a long time ago. I think it went well, and if I went well, and I'm just waiting to hear back what happens with it, but it seemed to go well. Thought I made a really good argument. Specifically point out, we have never gotten any bonding money, ever. And we don't plan on asking for more if you give us this, so hopefully it moves forward. And I will not be at the meeting tomorrow. It's my mom's birthday and I'm going on vacation.
There's WCC. WCC is in there. Lunch meeting, Thursday. There.
Okay, great.
Update the council website.
All right, great, thank you. All right, so we have anything else? No. Okay.
I did come up.
Yeah. With that, then we can be adjourned if there is a motion.
So moved.
Thank you, Reverend. Thank you, Mr. Governor. All those in favor signify with aye. Aye. Opposed, it passes 3-0. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah, we never saw. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Seems like you.
Yeah. 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 We're excited. Yeah, so, yeah. Oh, listen,